context I need to really say what is good and what is valuable. So some examples of objective feedback is exit velocity. What was the ball speed off the bat? Bat speed. What was the bat speed of the batted impact with the ball? The attack angle. The attack angle is the degrees or angles that the bat was swinging at when it hit the baseball. If it's positive, it's swinging up to contact, slight uppercut. If it's zero, it's swinging really flat and negative, and if it's negative, it's a down angle to contact, okay? And launch angle is basically the degrees that the ball leaves the bat post-contact, okay? So that's an objective measurement and allows me to be really detailed and accurate in my assessment of a player. And the other thing we talked about from a player development, like strategy, is providing game-like practice to a player. So hitting a baseball or softball, again, is the only skill that's routinely practiced at a speed and difficulty and intensity level that's much lower in the game. It's not uncommon for big leaguers to hit off a tee, to take underhand flips, and then step into a game facing 90. So the question is, how would you prepare your player? At the professional level, they're now trying to create more game-like routines and practices to get their hitters prepared for a pitcher that throws 94 mile an hour is the average fastball at the big league level, with an 82 mile an hour slider and a 78 mile an hour change, and he mixes locations. How are we going to actually develop the skill to do that if we just stick to basic tee work and underhand flips? How would your player get prepared to hit off that all-star kid that throws 65 if he only practices off hitting off the tee or soft flips or soft BP from dad? There are plenty of opportunities for players to get like confidence building through like easy soft hand and soft toss BP, but we need to have a little bit more of a balance of challenging our hitters with difficulty level that and game-like scenarios that more closely mimic the games. So how do I add more game-like elements into my practice? Okay, so I get this question a lot, and one thing that we can do is we can vary the distances that we throw our pitches from, right? Sometimes I'm going to throw really close to the hitter in order to simulate a faster thrown baseball. Sometimes I'm going to get a little bit further back and that'll simulate a ball that's thrown softer from a pitcher. And one thing that we struggle with always is like a high school kid that says he can only hit hard pitching, which means he can only hit like your average fastball between like 82 and 86. Anything over that's too hard, anything softer than that, he's way out in front. The only way to get used to that type of training without losing your arm or having a pitching machine able to simulate it is to throw closer, throw further, mix up your distances so that the player is always making adjustments. Another thing you can do is just simply mix up your arm slots, throw from over the top, throw from sidearm, get a lefty that can throw to your hitters, throw righty, mix up your speeds and your locations often to simulate the randomness of games. Most of us like get our kids ready by throwing like fastballs down the middle. It's the same speed from the same distance. It's like 30 pitches in a row, but in a game, the pitcher's throwing outside fastball and then a change up and then another fastball in, and then he throws one up or down low. So the player is always having to make an adjustment, but in the practice, we don't make our players adjust nearly enough to adjust to what the pitcher's going to do to them in the game. And the last thing about creating a game-like environment is to increase the intensity or the competitiveness of practice so that it more closely stimulates all the pressures that a player feels when he's batting in the game. So if you're playing a mini game, for us, we play games like infield is lava. If they hit the ball in the infield, it's an out. So the only thing that counts is the ball that lands in the grass in the outfield. We'll play cage ball where we try to hit the ball to the back side of the cage. That's 2 points. If it's the back top net, that's worth 3. If it's a side net, it's 1 point. If it hits the ground, it's nothing. And that just encourages the outcomes that we're looking for in the game. And we pair that with hard game-like BP or pitching. We might simulate live at bats in that, anything that can make it feel more like the game. So that gets us kind